The US government is hiding the truth about Ripple's XRP, and this is about to happen next. With Bitcoin sitting at $57,000 and XRP sitting at 44 cents, the entire crypto market is attempting to make a recovery after this absolute bloodbath the past month, with projects down 20%, 30%, 40%, some projects down upwards of 70, 80, even 90% in the altcoin market. In this video, we're going to discuss exactly where we are for Total 2 and the rest of the industry, Bitcoin's next move, and exactly what needs to happen next in order for Bitcoin to make a recovery. Otherwise, it could get very, very nasty for the amount of leverage traders out there that are longing the market, expecting a recovery. We also found the German government's crypto wallet and exactly what they hold in their portfolio, and it'll shock you. On top of that, the US government's portfolio with over $12.7 billion in holdings. We're going to discuss what altcoins they hold, the secret plan for the Brics nations that virtually nobody is ready for, and how this relates to gold, how it relates to XRP, what the Fed chair Jerome Powell just said that is shocking crypto Twitter right now, Brad Garlinghouse's secret meeting at the White House, what Goldman Sachs has to say about Ripple, Coinbase, and Circle, and some other massive news that we need to unpackage that will give you a clear understanding of what's about to happen next for XRP. So if you guys are feeling bullish, comment 777. If you're feeling blessed, comment 777. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, you know what to do. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it.
There's a massive quantum shift happening. And if you can't see it, you need to look around for just a moment. Why are so many people living broke right now?
We're all feeling inflation right now.
Americans are paying the price for rising inflation.
And many people don't exactly know why.
The more dollars that get printed, the more that gets put into circulation, the higher the prices of all of these assets are going.
It's an old archaic banking system.
It's pretty apparent at this point that we're in a transition.
It seems like we're on the brink of a major collapse. I think it's almost undeniable.
The system has to switch.
I think we're going to see a dramatic change over the next 10 or even 15 years. XRP is part of the heartbeat of Ripple.
You had kind of the ability to exchange anything of value in a very efficient way through this ingenious pathfinding algorithm.
The utility aspect of XRP, you can move value from one place to another place instantly for a very, very nominal cost.
Instead of it taking 3 to 5 days for a payment to go through from one bank to another cross-border, it now takes 3 to 5 seconds. That's a game changer.
They would have globally dominated the entire industry, but for the regulators pulling them back and Congress kind of not getting with the program.
You know, we absolutely want to see the United States lead in this new arena that we call blockchain and cryptocurrencies. And the clarity really emanates from the Securities and Exchange Commission.
It was the darkest day of the year. It was December 21st that Brad Garlinghouse came out and basically informed the world that they were soon going to be sued by the SEC.
The SEC its mandate is to help protect investors.
I got flooded out of the whole project because of this lawsuit. I lost my dream, my hope of buying something really, really solid.
At the very least, it's the appearance of impropriety. You know, and then the other end of the spectrum, it's absolute coercion and collusion, right? And market manipulation.
People are going to lose money, and people had their life savings in XRP. It was Christmas Eve. I came back at about 1 o'clock in the morning, something like that. Christy said, where the hell have you been for the last several hours? And I looked at it and I said, I think I'm going to sue the SEC.
We became convinced that this whole case was merely a show. It was an attempt by the federal government to slow down the adoption and perpetuation of XRP.
Jay Clayton drops this lawsuit on his last day in office. Like mission accomplished.
Jay Clayton, he hires his good friend, Bill Hinman.
Bill Hinman came to the stand in 2018 and gave his famous speech where he declared that Ethereum wasn't a security.
They did not issue that much Ether, and yet they let Bill Hinman go ahead and make the speech, saying that they're decentralized.
The bureaucracy beast system has been weaponized against the American people.
Dozen FBI agents, guns a-blazing, came into my home. They toss me into this van as if I'm Pablo Escobar or somebody.
The channel. So that's going to be an exciting documentary to watch as people start to realize the true value of XRP over the next few years, especially over the past month. When you look at the market right now, you know, these scary times have been the best time to back up the truck during these dips. Because when you go the year, look at where we're at on the macro, you can zoom out, right? So on the week, you know, some of these projects are making big recoveries like TIA, NOT, ENS, Aave, among other projects. But over the past month, we're still down. So what we need to look at right here is total 2, the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. And I talked about this in previous videos. We did a back test of the previous range right here that was resistance as support. As you can see near the ETF news around, you know, January of 2024, this was resistance. SEC made some massive manipulation that took place with their Twitter account, and then ultimately the ETF was approved. The market skyrocketed. We broke out to a new range, and in previous videos, I've talked about how the markets move. When you break a previous range of consolidation, as you guys can see, this was a range that the market consolidated at, you know, since like December of 2023 until it broke out in February. So December, January, February, for like 3 months. There's 2 types of markets we can be in. We can be in a trending market or a ranging market, right? We trend up, we trend down, or we range just sideways and it's boring. And so range bound, right? So this was range bound for several months. Once we break a resistance or a support, we snap very quick to the upside. So we form a new range and now we're ranging again. And so how long have we been ranging since we peaked out right here in March of 2024? We've been ranging for roughly 4 months. So this is a very long range that we've been in right here. We see this descending resistance. So everything is normal, in my opinion, as long as we hold this support around $840 billion. Now, things would get a little worrisome if we were to see the altcoin market drop below this support and close below it, you know, on the daily, weekly, or even monthly candle towards the end of this month. So we'll see what the altcoin market does. But right now, anything, right? It's when you break a range, then that's when things start to become relevant again. Because as you can see, where the resistance was at $1.27 trillion was exactly where the resistance was for this complacency dead cat bounce right here. So we came up, we tested a previous resistance, we got rejected from it, and now we're ranging sideways. And so what I would like to see for the total 2, the crypto total altcoin market cap, is for us to just chop higher, but form higher highs and higher lows and just hold above this support and ultimately see a break eventually above this descending resistance here leading into the end of this year. And if we can see a massive spring to the upside to retest, you know, $1.3 trillion, then that would be awesome. Now, there's a lot of stuff that's going to need to take place in order for that to happen, all of which we're going to discuss in this video. Number 1 would be Bitcoin making a recovery in order for the altcoin market to make a recovery. Now, if I were to zoom in for Bitcoin right now for you guys, we were in this symmetrical triangle on the daily chart right here until we broke below it. Now, as you can see right here, we're chopping sideways right below this ascending support that is now resistance, right? And so if we were to look at the bottom of the screen right now, hopefully my camera doesn't keep freezing up for this entire video. It gets frustrating sometimes to edit this stuff, but if we look right here on the bottom of the screen, you guys can see the RSI right now for Bitcoin is at 38. We're also in this, it looks like a falling wedge right here. If we were to draw the resistance from this to this, we also see the support from this to this. And so the RSI has been dropping. If we see another shakeout for Bitcoin to the downside, the real question is how much further could it drop? Well, let's look at the open interest and let's discuss open interest, because if you guys look at the last times that the open interest built up momentum from like June of 2022, stayed in this bullish channel until it dropped off a shelf, well, the Bitcoin price dropped 28%. So one of the first major drops during the bear market, not first one, but the last major drop during the bear market was a 28% drop. Bitcoin crashed from $21,000 to the low of like 14, 15K right around here. Then we started to recover. As you can see, the interest got wiped off the table. People were, you know, longing the market right here. They got liquidated and the markets bottomed out. The leverage, you know, dropped all the way back down to just a few $billion. If I were to minimize this, it dropped all the way back down to like $1.8 billion. And so the way that leverage works is these market makers and these exchanges trade against leverage traders. So it's all manipulated, right? And if you can understand which direction it would most likely be manipulated to, this will prevent you from getting wrecked. And it can also help you capitalize on it to make the most amount of money possible. And so when we saw the leverage get wiped off the table and get all the way down to like 1.8 billion, then it started to climb back up again in this bullish channel. We form higher highs, higher lows. Now we are trending higher again. Sure enough, in terms of the price action as well too, we can see a trend line, right? Where you see higher lows, we also see higher highs being formed. And another 20% drop in price was when the leverage got wiped off the table as well too. So this was a fake out, right? And this is what's called a bear trap, where we break this ascending support. The bears think that it's over for the bulls because usually the price would do something like this and come back down. However, we were now in a bull market, and if you were to look at the open interest at the bottom of the screen right here, you can see we climb from like 2 billion in interest, we get back into another bullish channel. So one thing that is a little bit concerning right here is how high the leverage is at $5.4 billion. Now the leverage can keep climbing during the entire bull run, you know, as price breaks out, leverage can keep climbing higher. As you guys can see, we broke this macro resistance that this indicator really shows back from like December 2021. We climbed above it about $4.5 billion. As you can see, we got drastically overinflated in terms of the amount of interest that was out there on the market was crazy. It's $6.7 billion. It's probably more in other exchanges that's not aggregated and showing up on here on TradingView. But when it went up to 73, 74K for Bitcoin, the open interest was all the way overvalued here. So we saw a little shakeout event that took place right here, but it brought us back down within this bullish channel. So we're trading right now at this ascending support on the open interest suite aggregated right here. And so if we were to see another shakeout event like what happened between, you know, August and September, or back from October to December of 2022, well, if the open interest would drop all the way back down to like 3 billion down here and drop, well, then maybe the price would drop another, you know, 20, 25%. If that were to take place, I think the worst case scenario for Bitcoin is to come down within this range right here that it consolidated at between, you know, the ETF news, like December to February. So this would act as the next zone of support. It'd be a 25% drop, potentially $42,000 to $45,000. And so if that were to take place and we see Bitcoin drop all the way down here and we see massive event, I would be looking at the open interest suite, and I'll show it on the video for you guys and we'll talk about it. The RSI would go drastically into oversold territory, you know, 20, maybe below that. And then we would start the recovery on out of here for the rest of the bull market. So this would be worst case scenario for Bitcoin. Then I believe, you know, Bitcoin would start recovering, but I don't think this is going to happen, guys. Again, you know, I like to prepare for it because when I hear about 25% shakeout events or 30%, or in this case, it would be 25 plus 27. We're already at a 27% correction period right now. So that would be what, like 60%? Yeah, 60 something percent. So it would be one of the largest corrections in a bull market that would take place. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but you know, if you go back to 2022 in February, we saw that Bitcoin faced major resistance right here. So this would be the next level to look for if we break this support at like $50,000. I think we need to hold the psychological level at 50K. Right now we're 57. Ideally, you know, Bitcoin just chops higher, forms higher highs and higher lows, and then we form a recovery back to the high. Now, some other things we need to discuss is what was causing this sell-off. Well, it's the flood of Mt. Gox. It's what the German government has been doing. And if you guys look right here, the German government's crypto wallet at the bottom of the screen is worth $581 million at the time that this was posted by Marty Party. It was at 9.9K Bitcoin. After they sent almost 6,000 Bitcoin to exchanges, they are nearly liquidated. All their Bitcoin's gone. And so the way that they sold this was just completely disrespectful to the markets. Like, smart investors sell not the way that the German government did it. So a lot of people are saying that this was orchestrated to drop the price of Bitcoin. So maybe other countries could accumulate more. So maybe the German government's talking with the higher ups. You know, I'm not going to confirm or deny that because that could be a theory there, but maybe there was an orchestration to liquidate a lot of these leveraged traders, accumulate more. But Germany is now nearly liquidated for doing that. So it serves them right. They haven't made a right decision since Hitler rose to power, but they have sold a total of 40,000 Bitcoin, one of the greatest tests of Bitcoin ever. So this is bullish. The fact that Bitcoin's only done a 27% correction from here. And right now, if I were to refresh this page on Arkham Intelligence, we can see that the amount of Bitcoin that the German government has left is 9,000, right? And so they're just going to keep selling it off, most likely, as you can see right here in terms of the billions of dollars they had. They had 3.5 billion at the peak, and now they got like not much left, 896 million. So, sure, they could sell off more, but it's getting bought up, right? Institutions are buying it up, and so bulls are strong. And if we look at the U.S. government, the U.S. government is one of the biggest holders of, Bitcoin, Ethereum. They got USDT, wrapped Bitcoin, BNB, A, USDC, B, USDC, USDC, DAI, wrapped Ethereum. So it looks like the largest that they hold is Bitcoin, Ethereum. The stablecoin don't really count. And then we go down here, we can see wrapped Ethereum is still Ethereum. Uniswap, right? Uniswap, they hold $2.4 million worth of Uniswap. Tron, they hold 2 million. Render, they hold 1.75 million. Chainlink, 1.3 million. Ant, 1.2. Band, Sand, Shiba Inu, FTX, Maker, KNC, Nexo, Aave. Then it gets into dust, like pennies right here, to the government, like hundreds of thousands of dollars. To you and I, this would be nice to have an extra, 100K, 200K, 90K here and all these other projects. But with $12.7 billion, the main thing that they're holding is 12.3 billion of Bitcoin, 159 million of Ethereum, and then mostly stable coins. And then we get into like 100K. So the US government, and this is probably, correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's probably a lot of recovered funds from a lot of scams that now they're holding in their wallet. So if the US government really wanted to crash Bitcoin, they would. Now, my thought on this is they're not holding any XRP. Why would they not be holding any XRP in their wallet? You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But one thing that I find very interesting about what's taking place in the markets right now is the secret plan that the Brics nations have been working on for a long period of time that involves backing their new currency with precious metals. And of course, gold would be one of the major ones. So when we talk about Brics, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Then you got Saudi Arabia. But let's just look at the original Brics, right? Brazil, look at their gold reserves on what happened from 2021, 2022, and 2023, and 2024. Just massive spike up in terms of tons and how much they have in their central banks. Let's look at Russia. Now, Russia has been accumulating more and more gold. It's going to keep going up. Now let's look at India. Is there some congruency here? It just keeps going up, right? It's trending up in terms of the amount of gold that they have in their central bank. If we look at China, China has been going up. 2025 will most likely be more gold. That's why we see the price of gold rising. China's also dumping US treasuries more than ever before. South Africa, it's been going up drastically. So this tells us stuff, okay? I don't like to follow just everyday people that have a few $1 million or a few 100,000 or even 10 million or a billionaires. I like to follow central banks and see what the central banks are doing. And if they're accumulating gold, that tells me that they're bearish on fiat currencies. They know something's coming because they're planning an escape from the traditional financial system. It's obvious. Now, the people that don't see this right now, that have their heads in the sand, by the time it happens, it's going to be too late. That's why I say prepare now. You have to prepare every single day for this because everything is falling into place. Now, interestingly, Ripple has already been recognized by the World Gold Council to launch a stablecoin on the XRP ledger by Q3 to Q4 of this year. It's a major step in integrating physical gold and other commodities into the digital economy, utilizing XRP for cross-border liquidity. And so the World Gold Council has a plan to make trading more liquid, starting with the $500 billion in gold bars beneath London. And when you talk about the $11 trillion global gold market, how much of that will flow through the XRP ledger will remain to be seen, but could be a big chunk of that. Now, when we talk about the US government and what they're doing, well, everyone is still like tripping over what Jerome Powell has been saying at these FOMC meeting speeches when he's been talking about GDP, he's been talking about CPI, he's been talking about trying to keep inflation under control. But listen to what he just said about the future of the Federal Reserve.
So eliminating the Federal Reserve is best for promoting economic stability.
Yes.
Thank you.
Eliminating the Federal Reserve is best for promoting economic stability. He says yes. So abolishing the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, most likely won't be around long term. So what is that going to mean? What's that going to mean? If they're not going to be printing money, there's a whole new system coming to play. Now, coincidentally enough, Ripple CEO at the White House right here is saying, thank you, Rock Hanna, for being an exceptional leader and engaging with the crypto industry. This morning's Crypto Roundtable, bringing together folks like Mark Cuban, Paul Grewal, Disparte, etc. at the White House, and key congressional leaders such as Senator Gillibrand, Representative Joe Neguse, is hopefully the first step in the move from words to actual action. Unfortunately, the majority of Democrats continue to enable Gary Gensler's unlawful war on crypto, sabotaging the ability for American innovation to thrive while other countries are getting ahead. And it's no wonder the GOP has announced a pro-crypto stance. Gensler will go down as the ludit of his time. You know, whatever that word means, but everyone can put two and two together there. Words are easy, action is hard, but necessary. Choose wisely, voters are paying attention. So if Brad Garlinghouse wasn't a part of the plan, why would he be at the White House, you know, talking about this stuff? If Ripple's stablecoin coming out at the end of this year wasn't a part of the plan, then why would the European Union ban USDT, you know, if with their new micro regulations coming out? If Ripple and XRP wasn't part of the plan, then why would Goldman Sachs in their recent paper, The Opportunity in Payments, praise Ripple's technology, saying banks join RippleNet to process cross-border payments in real time with end-to-end tracking and certainty. Available in 55 plus countries across 6 continents, RippleNet makes it easy to connect and transact across a robust network of financial institutions. With RippleNet, financial institutions can expand payment offerings into new markets that are otherwise difficult or expensive to reach. New revenue, lower cost, consistent experience, one integration point. Now Coinbase, they have Coinbase on here too, saying 8,000 plus merchants accepting cryptocurrency. They have Circle on here as well too. And so the opportunity in payments is massive for these companies, and these are going to be the Goliaths of the future. Just like Amazon is the Goliath of the e-commerce space right now, just like Uber and Lyft are the Goliath of the transportation space, just like Airbnb is the Goliath of the hotel space, and they put these old companies out of business. And so Ripple is coming in the space, and they're going to be putting the banks, you know, a lot of these banks basically are going to be going out of business. They're going to be congregating into much larger banks, and then Ripple's going to be working with the largest banks, and they're going to restructure the whole thing. I don't know exactly what that's going to look like. I just know it's going to look incredible for XRP holders and crypto holders. And JP Morgan, you know, Jamie Dimon, Chase, the largest bank in the United States, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and the Bank of Canada on XRP, saying centralized or multi-sig notary schemes where a trusted entity or a set of entities trusted on a group is used to inform Chain X that claim in Chain X is true. An example of this is the Interledger Payment Protocol by Ripple. Now, usually when you give an example, if you want to seem professional as a company in a PDF that you're presenting in boardroom meetings, or you're sending out an email to your list, you want to use an example that you respect, right? Otherwise, if you use a bad example, then it's not a good example for the boardroom meetings or for your email list. So the one example they have is Ripple. So they respect this company because they're working with them in some way, shape, or form, right? Now, if that's not true, why would the Rothschilds tell us about XRP? Before the pandemic event, 201 told us about coronavirus. Pfizer told us about the side effects of the jab before it even started causing injuries. The Economist told us about a world currency 40 years ago. That's how they operate. And a lot of it is to reduce the karmic impact. So I'm not going to get into cannibalism and stuff or whatever and what they're doing to fast food restaurants, because you guys can figure that out through your own research. But they tell us this stuff, and you know, when you get mad at them, they're like, hey, we told you, so you can't blame us. So spiritually, there's not as much karma there. They want to decrease their karmic impact on the negative things that they're doing by putting it right in front of our eyes. And they do that big time in Hollywood as well too. But they're telling us this, we're researching it, we're finding it. It's all public information. You guys know I'm not a financial advisor. I don't claim to be one. All our videos are purely for education, informational purposes only. Crypto's risky. You could lose a lot of money in these markets, but you're a full-grown adult. I don't have to insult your intelligence. You obviously understand that. And by you investing anything in the markets, it's not based on any recommendations that we have, because we don't recommend you to buy or sell anything. XRP has one of the tightest monthly Bollinger Band squeezes in history. It's like that sponge or that rag that is getting squeezed up right now, pissing people off. And of everything in crypto right now, the last time it squeezed like that, it shot up 60,000%. Now, will XRP shoot up 60,000% in the future? I don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe Brad Garlinghouse knows, and all these central bankers know. Some of them have a hunch, right? But they're on NDAs, and they wouldn't tell us anyways. And so we have to look at the data and make an informed, calculated decision on what to do moving forward. So this is the end of the road for XRP. We're nearing it this year. This year, according to the linear chart, we have just completed the macro wedge, which has taken 6 years and 7 months to play out. Generational wealth could be around the corner. Now, obviously, you know, we want to diversify in the markets. if you hold everything in XRP, in my opinion, right? And also what a lot of smart investors are doing is they're diversifying. They don't think that's smart, because if XRP takes longer to perform, well then, having other stuff that's going to outperform in the short term is smart, because then you can just rotate and accumulate more XRP. But according to Crypto Bullet, as long as we stay above $49,000 to $52,000 for Bitcoin, this is a key level to hold. There's nothing to worry about. He thinks we're currently in the wave 4, which will approximately the same amount of time as wave 2. Be ready for tedious consolidation chop throughout the summer. So key moving averages to watch, the EMA 21 and the moving average 50. When wave 4 is done, long your longs in anticipation of final wave 5. And so the Elliott waves, right? Wave 1 was the first spring out of the bear market. Corrective wave 2 was what I showed you guys on the open interest aggregated in terms of the choppiness that took place when it wiped a lot of leverage off the table. 200 plus days of that. So corrective wave 2 was done. Then we shot up for wave 3, the most impulsive wave. Now wave number 5 is most likely going to be, the end of the bull run. Now, whether that peaks out early by the end of this year or it extends all the way into 2025, we will see. But either way, the M2 money supply is now expanding. So the bullish narrative is getting stronger than ever before. As Donald Trump and Joe Biden go into the debates closer to election, Donald Trump is going to be speaking more about crypto. And when he starts speaking about crypto and getting that out there, as we get closer to election, well, then the odds of him winning, it's like, it's either him or Biden. So if Trump gets elected and he's positive about crypto, where do you think people are going to do? Well, naturally in the past, people buy the rumors and they sell the news. So if people are expecting Trump to get elected, they're going to buy the rumors of that in the crypto market. And in my opinion, that means we go up. Now, I could be wrong there, but it only makes sense, in my opinion, for both Democrats and Republicans to pump the market before election, because in order for Joe Biden or whoever replace him, if he keels over before election and doesn't even make it to the debates or the stage, then they would need to replace him with somebody, Kamala Harris or somebody else. Well, then if they pump the markets and the economy is doing good, who do you think people are going to vote for? Well, people are going to vote for whoever pumped the markets the most. And also they would want to do that to make as much money as possible. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not going to shake you guys out in the short term. And so as always, what I'm doing is I'm getting in my truck, I turn it on the ignition and I'm backing it up, beep, 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 boom, backing it into the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them, stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because I believe the spending power of the dollar is going to keep going down in value. That's just a fact based on inflation, and the central banks of the Brics nations are showing us what they're doing. Blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies, precious metals, commodities have been going up in value over the past decade. That's the truth. And together, you know where we're going. We're going camping on the beaches of the moon.
So if you're ready to become the first millionaire in your family tree with crypto, and you want to get early access to our underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire when it's released, then all you need to do right now is go to bullrunners.com, and you're going to get exclusive early access to alerts on explosive altcoins with timely notifications about high potential projects before they hit the mainstream market. You're also going to get access to daily market analysis videos where you can watch daily videos like this to stay up to date on the latest trends and updates in the cryptocurrency market. And you're also going to receive pro trading strategies and tools for you to access proven trading tips and institutional grade indicators to refine your trading strategy. So don't miss out on the launch of our new underground guidebook called Altcoin Secrets that's going to help you discover the next 100x altcoin. All you need to do to get early access is go to bullrunners.com, click the button on the page, put in your best email address, and you'll be instantly subscribed for the early bird list when it's released. We know you're going to love it.